there's not much unoccupied space here.
Kanuski's going to show us how his snow stakes work here.
So I just got the reflective line on here with a taut line hitch.
I
As you
seen
can see, it's
snow
anchored
soup
in
earlier.
snow pretty darn good. You can't pull that out. You
Right.
need a shovel to dig it out. That's what the shovel's for. And here's the stake itself. It's a SMC snow stake. Basically, I put extra long, bright colored loop on it so you can find it when you're digging it out. This just goes through the hole here, loops back over itself, forms that. And you just dig a trench in the snow. The snow's not very soft, but you dig a big trench in there all the way down. Put your stake in there sideways, and then you stomp it all down. And I kind of go around and do them all so they give them a few minutes to harden up. And then once they harden up, they're in there really good.
Yeah.
Really good anchors. You could just as easily use a stick of wood to do the same thing. But these double as stakes when sometimes the snow has got just the right consistency that you can use them as
Are
regular
those
stakes, too.
titanium?
No, they're just aluminum.
I tied my all but one
Somebody's
tie
gonna
out
ask.
Yep.
to vegetation.
Yeah, there's a lot of it around here to do that. But you get out in areas where you have no vegetation at all, like in a mountain scenario, you gotta have something.
I do that dead man method with my 8-inch gutter stick, and it works.
For ski mountaineers, you just use our skis.
Bags are in the
Oh, shoot, I
in the
can't
tent
do that.
still.
Well, tell us what you have.
It's just a blackbird with a crow's nest underquilt with a pad for the feet. Hopefully I'm supplementing it with something tonight.
Looks like a big bag of something here.
Mount Washington 3.
Whoa.
So you were cold last night?
When I left the hammock, no. I was just uncomfortable because I was wrapped in 2 sleeping bags with all my clothes and I couldn't get comfortable. So I don't know how I would have actually done had I stayed in there. I did the 2 tarps because the Deluxe just didn't have enough coverage. I don't have doors or anything. So I just used that as the main cover and threw the second one around kind of just to close it in.
Now it's a Macat Deluxe?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the same that I have over there, but I just staked mine as a diamond and left the corners loose.
Yeah, it's one of his sill,
Yeah,
or not sill, but spin.
spins. That's what mine is also.
And this is just a generic sill tarp I had.
Yep.
So, say again, what's your underquilt?
It's the Phoenix,
Okay,
3 season, 3/4.
yeah, and you're going to supplement that with,
Mount Washington 3.
yeah, you should be toasty then.
You will be toasty. Yep.
Yeah, and I got
You said you had enough insulation, but it was sleeping in
Easy
2
for us
sleeping
to
bags
say,
wasn't
yeah.
very.
Yeah, I think I
Wasn't
was.
very
I
good.
think I probably would have stayed warm, but I had 2 sleeping bags, mummy bags, zipped around me with all my clothes. I was like this, and I couldn't get comfortable enough
Yeah.
to actually fall asleep.
Yeah.
Now
It's
you have
amazing.
more room. Same insulation, more room.
Yeah, if I put that on, I'll just use the 2 sleeping bags as top
Wow,
quilts.
that thing. There's one underquilt in there?
Yeah,
Yeah, this bag has one
I'm surprised.
underquilt.
Yeah, it's amazing. I would not have wanted to do what you tried last night. But then here we are saying, oh yeah, just add one Mount Washington 3 and oh, you'll be toasty. And it's supposed to be, what was it, -10 last
Minus
night?
10.
And
Yeah,
supposed to get
roughly.
colder tonight?
Okay,
Get on the other side.
let's see what we got here. What we got here, we've got, this is a good spot for me. You can get your feet. What we've got here is a modified form of a Morris Kohansky super shelter modified to be used with the Hammock. And basically what the super shelter is, it's basically using the igloo concept where you have a closed system or a greenhouse effect by having the poly over a reflective surface, which in this here we're using a tarp made from photography reflective material. And so what that's doing, the infrared rays are going into the shelter, the reflective surface is reflecting that back, and the poly is keeping that heat inside the structure. And so what we've got here, we've got a parallel, what we call fire lay. We run a hammock in the fire parallel with the prevailing wind. And then normally you can figure we keep that the fire one step away from our poly. We secure the poly in the front there's 2 logs, and then we make sure we bring our poly a little bit in towards the hammock, so if there's any sparking, the sparks fall down from the poly and don't burn holes in the poly. And the thing is, you can use like a 2 mil poly, a 4 mil poly if you want it to last longer. And on the hammock, I tend to use a sheet 12 by 12 just because they have the added length necessary for the hammock. If we were going to make this shelter to be just for an individual to sleep in, we could do like a baker's tent and just have it 6 or 7 feet long, and that would work just as well. Okay. Stop. What else should I say?
Explain why it's Mylar showing on top that you folded it back.
Okay. This here would be, this is my typical 6-sided tarp I use for hammocking. But what I did, I added 2 added loops, and then I just folded that back. So now I'll be able to use that as, kind of a half a baker.
So the back wall of the shelter is reflective.
Right. You have to have a reflective material.
We can barely see that through the poly.
Separate the poly here, and you can see it. So it's giving you like a reflector oven type effect. It's reflecting that heat back. We haven't had our fire lit very long, but we've got a thermometer in there, and we'll see how long it takes. It shouldn't take
And
more
out
than
here,
15 to
it's
20
0
minutes.
degrees, so
Yeah.
whatever gain you get ought to be significant.
Well, normally you can keep it, there's no problem once you have a good fire established of keeping this to a temperature where you can actually sleep with your clothes on and no other bedding on top of your hammock. I do like to use one little insulating pad underneath just to keep that coolness that you always find, and because heat rises. The other thing that makes it really nice, it allows the user to dry off all these clothing at the end of the day. So even once the fire is well established, you let it die off, go to sleep, you got your regular sleeping layers, you'll be able to have everything dried off. The other thing that makes it nice is when you're enjoying your fire, you don't have to worry about the smoke. It eliminates that problem altogether. And when you secure your ends, you secure it loosely, like with clothespins, and so it still gives you a good air exchange. See? And like you can see here, this is a little bit open, because you do want a good fresh air exchange.
And the lines that are tying the tarp out,
Those are just paracord.
yeah, but they go through the poly.
Right, you make a couple small holes to run your lines through. So you want to keep the actual overcover as snug as possible, because all of those holes are going to cause you to lose heat.
There we go.
All right.
We got fire detail going here. Lonely Raven is hard at it. One thing about heating with wood, it heats you when you cut it, and it heats you when you burn it.
That's a good point.
Got to say, that stuff splits mighty fine.